Coming at you from the OLR podcast studio.
It's really more of a basement.
Coming to you from the OLR basement studio.
But it's still a podcast.
Coming to you from the podcast basement studio.
Yeah, but you still need to say OLR.
Coming to you from the OLR podcast basement studio.
Oh, that's way too many words.
Coming at you.
That's not enough. You still need to say OLR.
Let's just start. It's OLR.
Welcome to this week's episode of the One Lane. Is it edition or episode?
I don't
off
know.
Of the One Lane Road podcast.
I call them episodes.
I have joined a very, very
big-headed,
obviously
esteemed.
You're fired up tonight.
I am a little fired up tonight.
You are fired up.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I've been down here for about an hour waiting on you. I was really disappointed when I thought you was texting me telling me you weren't going to come.
Actually, what that was a little bit. That was a little bit of me telling you I wasn't coming tonight.
I knew it was.
The reason being, I just got home from work. I'd put my supper in my mouth like the first bite, and Daddy calls and says, what y'all doing? What's going on?" I thought, "What's he want, man?" I said, "Nothing, man. He's eating a little supper. You think you can take Mama, my grandma? You think you can take Mama over to Gainesboro? Get her car. They got it fixed quicker." I said, "Oh, like Gainesboro I just came from?" "Yeah, man, for sure. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
"What are you doing?"
Yeah,
"You're 7 days off."
Yeah.
But no, I didn't care. Took it over there. So when we come back, I was like, damn. Because I really wanted to write out some things. And I was like, because I hadn't had a chance to. So everything I wrote out was like actually 10 minutes one time. Boom. So
right.
I sat down and actually got away from people. I try to write it out at lunch. And people don't give me my 30-minute piece at lunch. Never.
If you don't leave, they don't.
Mm-mm.
You got to be out of sight so that you're out of mind.
Ideally, what I want to do is I want to read my Titans. I want to read my Yahoo Fantasy Football. And I want to spend, I try to break it down sections. I do Bleacher Report for 10 minutes, Fantasy Football for 10 minutes. Then I try to do what I want a format our show to be for 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
I don't get that. It pisses me off. So really, I had nothing. I didn't want to lay a dud tonight. And so...
Hey, tell me something about Rick. Rick's got at least 2 Corvettes.
Yeah.
Sitting down there that I have never seen out from under the car covers.
Yeah.
What does Rick do? Does he just collect cars and cover them? Is that what he does?
He's got 5 vehicles in a 900 square foot house.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talking about living simple, but not really.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you got 5 vehicles,
you're not living
it ain't too simple.
So he says...
But why? I'm a car guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big car guy. How in the hell do you keep Corvettes covered up all the time?
Well, you're not going to the car shows. That's his new thing, man.
Going car shows? I talked to my neighbor about car shows the other day. I'm good at a car show for about an hour.
Yeah, that's it, man.
I could not, for the life of me, sit down there. When I finished that 65 Mustang that I got out there, I could not take it and sit at a car show for 6 hours. Couldn't do it. I don't care how many people are going to come look at it or anything. Now, if it was going to be sold, if I was going to try to sell it to the right person, maybe. But that's the only time I could sit at a car show for that long.
I like going to them, but I mean, it's
about an hour,
it's a walkthrough.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm going to buzz them. I'm a people person, and I like to talk to people. You know, Randy Bird was at every car show that around here.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Guarantee it that. But that's what he's doing, man. He's if he catches one pretty close around when the weeks he's off, he sometimes he'll take his red vet, sometimes he'll take his white vet, sometimes he take them both. He's finally trusted his girlfriend enough to drive one of them, I guess.
I kind of thought one of them may have been hers, but they're both his.
They're both his.
Both his.
Oh,
that Stingray's bad. That 87 he's got.
It is. I'm not sure that it's 80. Is it 87?
It looks like an 87, but they all look. They're in a couple years. They all look the same.
White one's an 83, I think. 82. Man, I can't keep
92,
up.
isn't it?
No, shit. I don't know. I've never been inside either one of them.
Yeah, I think that
Waylon's rode in them, but I haven't.
I think that white one's closer to a 90s model.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so. He's had some. Those are his probably.
Yeah, those 90 models that's Rick's thing right there. I've seen a couple of them over the years.
He had a 76 Stingray, I think, at one time, a red one, and then he's had a white one when I was in high school. I think.
Yeah, the white one. This one first Corvette I ever sat in was Rick's white one.
I can't keep
that
up
may
with
have been that may have been the First time Rick ever heard it, if he listens to this, that I sat in his car.
Oh.
Let me tell you, man, I seen a sweet stingray one time. God, man, it was nice. I was at Walmart, and I seen it driving through town in Cookeville. I seen it driving through town. And I went to Walmart, and I come back out, and it was at Sonic, right there beside a Walmart in Cookeville. I turned around and come back through and drove around just to stop and look at it. And I'm not sure what year it is, but there was one particular year that any Corvette enthusiast will know. It was silver on top and had a little black stripe on bottom, and it was a Stingray, and I think it was an 80s, maybe 86, 85, 86, something like that. Real nice. I mean, clean. Looked to the point where this guy either just got it detailed or just got it back from getting it fully restored. Clean. Beautiful car. Beautiful car. Guy had some cash in it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't sitting there in it, or I would have stopped and talked to him. But I went on, and I went down to Mid-State and turned around and come back through, and he had pulled out of Sonic after, when he got ready to leave, got T-boned right there in the intersection. I mean, there was glass, paint all over the damn road.
What's sickening?
Oh, yeah.
That's why people don't drive them.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Daddy will
Somebody
drive
staring at him.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. Daddy will drive his, though. I mean, I catch him out every now and then. He'll be out cruising around in it on a Saturday or Sunday if it's pretty with top down.
Yeah.
So.
That white one's got them T-tops, don't it?
Yeah.
Both of them's got T-tops.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Whoever, he didn't see the red one. My aunt went and bought it for him.
Yeah.
She said, everything's clean. Dude said, boom, boom, boom. Knew this, knew that. So he drove it like the first time.
T-tops leaked.
That's an issue with it, and everything like new, like new tires. And he called. He said, "Well, I've had to have the red vet hauled over to town." He said the belt broke on it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You know what? One of the first things they told me was good with that thing, a brand new belt."
Yeah.
And he said, "Brand new this. Damn T-top's leaking." He said, "They did say it had new tires. Damn tires look good on it." So he finally tinkered. We had a little trouble to start with.
Yeah.
Then I guess he'd been kind of bullshitting with this man about the white one over in town forever, and just boom, trying to get it, and finally got it. So yeah, I don't know why you need two Corvettes. He's got two Corvettes. I don't know why you need two.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't need two Corvettes.
No, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good. I just wish he'd let me take one fill the gas tank up every now and then or something.
Right.
He paid for it, and then he's got two trucks. He's like, I really don't need two trucks, but he's got two trucks.
Well, you need a big one and a little one.
Yeah. Yeah. He got the Colorado and he's got the Silverado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have all the autos.
Yeah. And that's just like my aunt Winona, my mom's sister, says, "How in the hell is he gonna have 4 vehicles down there and everything paid for and charge you rent?"
So that's how he's got all that stuff paid for, woman.
Yeah. I said, I just made the last payment on that Corvette. What are you talking about? Shit. Anyway, but it's funny you said he didn't know that you sat in that seat.
Yeah.
There was a guy that I grew up with, friends for years and years and years. My parents never knew it. I didn't know it. And this is a good dude right here now. He would sneak down when he'd stay all night at my house and try to smoke my mama cigarettes. he would get a cigarette, bring it upstairs, and try to smoke it out of my window.
Really?
Hindsight being 20/20, I mean, there's worse things,
Yeah.
There's worse things to do, but my mom always left her Marlboro Reds out on the.
Yeah, she had them 100s too, didn't she? Didn't she have the long ones?
No, just regular Marlboro Reds, best I remember. But no, Daddy, he smokes everything. I don't know what he's got every kind of cigarette, except for left-handed. Anyway, anymore. Yeah, this old dude, I won't say his name, but yeah, he said, "What are you doing?" I was a little mischievous, but I was still scared to death that we were going to get caught with him smoking.
Yeah.
I've never been a big smoker, ever.
Yeah, but, both your parents smoked in the house. How in the hell were you going to get caught in your house?
Well, they were asleep. I don't know. They were asleep. I don't know. You couldn't get caught, but I didn't want my room to smell like smoke, and I didn't smoke.
Right. Right.
And we just still laugh.
Smoke goes up, yeah.
We still laugh about that. So we're going to do something interesting. We're going to get on some pop culture stuff or current culture stuff, current events, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Whatever.
And so we're going to – I suggested I was going to interview Lucas tonight, and I've got like I said, I come up with 10 12 little things, just kind of boom, boom, boom questions there.
Yeah. And then I told him, I said, that's going to last about 3 minutes, and you're going to get interviewed as well.
See, I thought, last time we done the podcast, we did one of each other. And that's pretty
individuals,
pretty well received. Everybody kind of, decently received because,
All right over there?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Prayers going up.
Something going up just a minute.
Shit. Hold on a minute.
Yeah,
Golly,
get in there.
Get in there.
Get in there, Big Daddy.
My God. So anyway, I mean, if there's nothing else that we like to talk about on the show, it's ourselves. But sometimes
nothing else I like to talk about more.
Sometimes it's the best when you don't have to get guests. I thought last week's cluster, turned out better.
Yeah.
When I listened back to it,
it was pretty good. I wasn't mad at it.
Well,
I wasn't mad at the whole situation.
Mackey's always a good time.
Mackey's a real good time. Of course, I did have one comment saying, "Boy, Mackey really loosened up between call number 1 and call number 2, didn't he?"
Yeah.
They said you missed a F-bomb or 2 in there. Yeah, it's all right.
Didn't really miss it.
I didn't miss it. I said I knew it was in there. I just left it.
Yeah,
I listened to it probably 4 times.
You don't want to muzzle
everything
Mackey too much.
I know.
Clay and Jason were good fill-ins too. Then it's cool to listen to Doug Martin. Doug apparently thought everything was funny. Because I was being Mr. Mom washing the dishes the other day, and I was laughing at Doug laughing at everything silly we were talking about.
He was a good call.
Yeah, he's good. Good time. So,
we gonna do them current events first, or what?
Yeah, let's do the current.
Give me your first one.
I got something straight out of 1998 for you.
That's not current.
It is current.
Okay.
It's when I tell you the people, I know you've had to see this. Did you see Shaggy 2 Dope sneak up on Fred Durst and try to give him a drop kick?
Was that Shaggy 2 Dope? Oh my God!
That's who it says. That's who I heard it was.
Oh no! Yeah, one of the ICP guys tried to jump up on Fred Durst.
Fred Durst looks just like Kevin Gillum.
For sure.
And
Good call.
Now, they never have looked alike, but look at that. It kind of looks like Kevin Gillum now with his big beard.
I did not realize it was one of the members of Insane Clown Posse.
I hadn't done a follow-up. I had this coming. There you go. What's the ICP Shaggy?
Shaggy 2 Dope tries to drop kick Fred Durst, doesn't quite make it.
Oh, yeah, look at it. Has he got Crocs on first off?
He sure does. Crocs. Fred Durst said something pretty funny right after it, too. God,
1, 2, 3. Limp Bizkit.
He missed him.
Couldn't even pull it off.
Couldn't even pull it off.
1, 2, 3 times 2 to the...
He was singing Faith. Gotta have faith.
What kind of pants does he have on?
1999. That guy's too big for that little guy to be messing around with him. This is like Tyler Childers trying to mess with, I forgot his name.
I just knew that this was staged. Like when I watched it and I seen Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J was missing from the scene, but you got Fred Durst out here talking about faith. I just knew Jonathan Davis of Korn was going to come out of nowhere and challenge them both to a triple threat match live on stage. And then Carson Daly was going to come out to MC it or something.
Oh, Carson Daly.
Bam.
Bam. You pulled that one right.
Jonathan Davis was staged. Carson Daly was not. I just pulled that right out of TRL heaven.
How big was Limp Bizkit back in the day? Huge.
Pretty freaking big, man.
Huge.
I liked Limp Bizkit.
I did too. I really did.
I can still I mean, I'm not afraid to admit it. I guess it's probably, like, I don't know if they're in Nickelback category. I don't think so.
Why is Nickelback such a...
They hated, ain't they?
Why are they so hated?
I really don't know.
They were a really good band. I mean, everybody listened to them. Everybody that hates on them right now,
they listened.
When Rockstar come out, they were singing
Rockstar, Photograph, Animals.
Look at this photograph.
Talking about switching positions in the car, and the daddy ripped him out the car, or whatever that song was. Yeah. Everybody. I went to a Nickelback concert with Brent Duffer.
Yeah.
There's nothing gay about that.
Mm-mm. Not even a little bit.
But you know what gay did happen that night? Ain't it funny how I can sidebar
you can get it back.
I am sitting there at Tootsie's after this. It's like a random Tuesday in 2007 or 8. And there's this couple that's all about like being chummy with us, with me and Brent. Brent's like, F this. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, he's trying to touch your ass. And I said, shut up, Brent. I know I'm just being Brent downtown. So we're, and it's dead. It ain't like Nashville now, 10, 11 years later. I mean, there was nobody at Tootsie's at Tuesday at 10:00.
Yeah.
And so I think this couple is just awesome. They're from like up north somewhere. They're funny. They keep on and on, and Brent's like, no, I'm serious. Dude is acting like he's grabbing your ass behind you. It's not the chick, it's the dude. Shit's getting weird. Dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
So Brent goes to the bar, sits by himself.
Yeah.
And
he just wasn't having it.
I turned around and the dude was. He was like weird, like all. It reminded me of that couple off of Super Troopers. Like the Super Trooper couple.
He was about to
in the car.
I'm sorry. They were about to take you home. That's what was about to happen there.
Okay, that's pretty open minded about things. I don't know if I'd check that box or not. But
you don't think she was into it too?
She actually, I mean,
she had no
idea. She
idea.
didn't look like the interested one. That's the scary part. No,
she had no idea what was happening. Did she?
I don't think so.
He was on the DL.
Nah, well, I was out.
DK had a guy on the DL trying to slide into them.
Look, I ain't,
backsides, not DMs at that point. There wasn't even DMs then.
I don't get down like that. I'm here to tell you. You can call me a lot of things, but
I'll call you a lot of things.
That right there ain't how I.
I mean, I've called you that.
Yeah, we all do. Back when everybody was so
damn
sensitive about everything.
Yeah.
You could call each other. All my best friends were always that word.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, why do you have to be so mean to those kind of people? Well, that's my best friend right there.
Yeah, I'll call him whatever I want to. Yeah, you just called me that.
I just mouthed it.
yeah.
Weird.
But
Nickelback was a good band.
They really were. That song Rockstar, there wasn't anything bigger than that whenever it came out.
Tell me one person didn't like Rockstar.
There ain't one.
I liked it so good I'm still drinking their drinks. Rockstar Recovery.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm serious. When did it went from like everybody loved them to everybody's like, oh, god dang, you listen to Nickelback?
You can't listen to Nickelback. You suck.
I don't know.
That's wrong. I still listen to Rockstar. It's still on my playlist.
I'll never forget Brad Craggett riding around 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to be a rockstar. I mean, just if Brad Craggett thinks it's cool, it's got to be cool, right?
Ain't that the truth? You know, the other Rockstar, R. Kelly had a Rockstar.
That's a good song.
It's not bad, right?
To be a child molester that pisses on people, I mean it's a pretty good tune.
He's got some issues.
Like your damn ass typing LLY Rockstar RK.
I don't know how it got.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know how it got back to the beginning.
If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Again. Who's
brought that one back out? That's
It's not Brandy.
No, it's not Brandy. No. It's the three girls.
Hell no, it's Aaliyah.
No, it ain't. Is it? Is it?
Don't you ever question my 1999 R&B knowledge.
Looky there. Look who's in that with him.
Kid Rock. Why does Kid Rock look like Jeffrey Dahmer in his new promo pictures at the White House the other day?
I've not seen him.
Kid Rock's got.
Is that Luda?
Move beyond. Just get out the way.
Was that Ludacris?
It was Luda. That's R. Kelly. Why does Kid Rock at the White House the other day look just like Jeffrey Dahmer? Those little pedophile glasses got to go. Type in Kid Rock, not all summer long. Kid Rock at White House. Tell me, okay, so when you do that, look at that picture for 2 seconds. Of course, Kanye's in every damn picture.
Kanye's the only one I see.
Images will do it, maybe, hopefully. Now, damn it. I've seen that picture all over. That's not the same. It wasn't another day.
That's better.
My God.
Hey, this isn't a good picture, though. What makes this picture worse is this guy standing right here beside him. Kid Rock comes to White House as Trump signs royalty bill. This mustache on this guy makes his mustache look worse.
That guy looks like the Titans president. He's got that mustache stupid like that. But Kid Rock, tell me anybody else that could wear those glasses with that mustache and not be on a child.
Hey, he looks like he should be on a bill somewhere getting passed around and say, if you see this guy, go home.
I've always said Kid Rock better be glad he's just famous as hell. Look at that shit, man.
I think the problem is he's getting old.
See, the goatee, always.
He's got to have it. It's the thing.
Give me the Kid Rock goatee every time. Yeah. Never stop with the mustache, Kid Rock. Stop
that mustache only didn't do it for him.
How have I seen that picture literally 20 times in the last week and I can't find it one time on? It's not those glasses.
That's awful. That picture right there, Trump signs a bill that ensures music streaming services pay. That picture right there That smile he's got on his face looks like he's about to kill somebody.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Or maybe he just did.
It's Jeffrey.
He's trying to hide it.
I'm telling you, it's Jeffrey Dahmerish.
Let me see. Let me search Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Look at this.
There's a picture. Bam, right there. Tell me Jeffrey Dahmer, Kid Rock, that's not the same pair of glasses. That's it, man.
That was it.
I'm going to maybe tweet something for our listeners, the Kid Rock picture, if I can find it,
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, that's not good. Look, right here.
Bam, there it is, right here. Why does Kid Rock look like Dr. Phil dressed up as Kid Rock? That's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Bam.
With long hair.
Look right here. Look at this picture. And then this picture.
That's the same person.
That's the same person. His hair just grew out a little bit.
My God.
Poor old fella.
So we're on
this guy back here, he don't know what's going on.
We're on board that Nickelback still could be good if everybody just wasn't such buttholes.
If everybody just calm down a
R.
little
Kelly
bit.
makes good music.
Yeah. Poor decisions and good music.
You don't know the difference between Aaliyah, Brandy, TLC.
Not TLC, that's
Fruity from the Facts of Life.
Beyonce. Beyonce's band. What was it?
Destiny's Child.
Yeah, Destiny's Child and Aaliyah. I don't know the difference in them. Bam. Hey, here's my first current event. You want to see the scariest thing you've seen today?
Oh, I've seen this, but I didn't watch it. Let's see it.
You didn't see this?
But I saw
Boston Dynamics. Whenever
parkour. Explain what I'm watching, Lucas. This is
Boston Dynamics. If anybody hasn't heard of Boston Dynamics, they have a bunch of military contracts. They make robots. Did you ever watch Black Mirror?
No.
You didn't watch Black Mirror.
No,
In
no.
one part of Black Mirror, one of the episodes of Black Mirror, there was this little dog-like robot that was running around, and that it was using some scanner on the front to look for people. And everybody thought, hey, that's some kind of futuristic version of something that's going on. Nuh-uh. That was a Boston Dynamics robot that was currently in use. Boston Dynamics already had that robot. Boston Dynamics makes a robot that can open doors, go through, and search for things. Now, they have this robot called Atlas running with a battery pack on its back. No wires, nothing anywhere. Jumping, just cleared 24 inches 3 different times, one leg at a time. Look at this. Whenever they figure out AI to put inside of a robot, that's the robot they're going to put inside of. That right there is the future of your military, Dustin.
I need this in my life, but like I need a pocket sex toy. This is all weird. No, that's me.
That's what I mean. Everybody needs to be scared of that. That's the scary thing right there. Everybody Google Boston Dynamics parkour, PARKOUR Atlas robot.
Man, look at
that right there. Look at that. Jumping right, left, right.
Look at the calf.
One leg at a time.
Look at the calves on that thing.
Look at that. With a battery pack on its back.
Looking like a young Lucas Hickman. So
Bam.
What is the purpose of that, really? For military?
Military use. Boston Dynamics is funded by the U.S. government.
Am I going to have to thank them for their service, too?
At some point in time, you're going to have to thank them for whatever the hell they ask you to thank them for.
But they don't have a head. I can't take it.
Oh, he's got a head, and it's a scanner. It's that head is something that's scanning around. They didn't pre-program this. He run up and seen that was happening, and then adjusted for it.
That thing's got less head than a married man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's scary right there. The implications of that right here. This is that Boston Dynamics robot that was on Black Mirror. Look at that.
I've seen people tweeting this and putting it on Facebook, but
Andy Altman, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, buddy. He looks dead behind the eyes.
Yeah, he does.
Boston Dynamics is creating what our next military will be with government funding. And look there, backflip. Did you see that?
I missed. I was looking at my Twitter.
Look at this. Watch this.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Tell me that ain't scary.
somebody better be calling Will Smith to fight this creature.
Somebody's gonna have to. Will, come save us.
Will Smith fights all that kind of stuff, don't
Yeah.
he? Men in Black, iRobot, Independence Day.
Yeah.
Will Smith is your man.
Yeah, he's jumping out of airplanes now, and he's gonna have to find a. He's gonna have a bomb strapped to him to take care of all these cats whenever they come out.
When's it supposed to happen?
This is real. This isn't some CGI and future thing. That's in process. That's real.
Where are they housing these cats at?
Boston.
Oh, just Boston. Boston.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's just the name of a. Goodness gracious.
If that don't scare you, then
that is scary.
Yeah, right there. That's exactly right. Impending robot apocalypse. As soon as they figure out AI, they get inside of that, you're done. We're done, Jack.
You're not meeting Allen Iverson when you're saying AI either.
No. You're artificial intelligence. Yeah.
I watched that on a movie once.
Well, yeah. I better hope that battery power don't get straightened out before that artificial intelligence does. They better hope something can run out of juice before.
Why the hell is our world? I mean, I watched the Jetsons in the 80s. We still don't have flying cars, so why do we have to have this?
Yeah. Stephen Hawking, whenever he died, the one thing that he worried about most was that artificial intelligence would outpace us, and if that cat's worried about it, then I'm worried about it.
These weird people always have a leg up on this stuff. They always know, don't they?
Yeah, him and Elon Musk. That's the one thing they're both worried about.
And Kurt Cobain. He said that Donald Trump was going to be the president back in 1993.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of a heads up on that for some reason.
Did you read that quote?
I did. Yeah, let me find it.
That popped up. Chris Boone shared that on Facebook. I've seen people share that before, but man,
made it 1993. Predicted Donald Trump being president in 1993. Probably also the year he died, wasn't it?
94. He died. He killed himself April 2000 or April 94.
Let's see. Let's see. In the end, I believe my generation will surprise everyone. That word is generation. There's no B in it. We already know that both political parties are playing both sides from the middle and will elect a true outsider when we fully mature. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a business tycoon who can't be bought or who does what's right for the people, someone like Donald Trump. As crazy as that sounds, Kurt Cobain, 1993.
Hit it right on the head, didn't he?
He seen that coming, didn't he?
Tell me, whoever the hell created that meme, if you're a Kurt Cobain fan, you can't even pronounce Kurt or spell Kurt the right way.
Yeah, you can put that K on it. The other thing I don't like about it is, they could have stretched it out a little bit and showed Kurt's face just a hair.
Yeah.
Maybe made the font on the top the same as the font on the bottom, and then maybe got a little bit more of Kurt's face in there.
Yeah, the whole thing's, other than the quotes, pretty bush league. But that's nuts to look back at. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, not that he had an inkling, but I guess he maybe had an inkling about it. That maybe he just found one rich person and took a shot in the dark, and here we are.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool regardless.
Yeah, I'm sure the conspiracy theorists have something to say other than he just took a shot in the dark there. But
he's probably hanging out with Tupac somewhere.
Yeah,
to guess.
I may have already said this. Did I say about me getting on the Tupac YouTube video rant?
No.
There's a lot of good videos out there about the night Tupac got shot.
Oh yeah, you did go off on that last time. Yeah. I want to watch some of them though. Hey, I've started a new podcast today, speaking about conspiracy theorists. So on July 4th is always the anniversary of the Steve McNair death.
Yeah,
and it was an open and shut case within 4 days. He's found in his condo that nobody knew he had except for his close friends.
Right.
Shot in the head twice on both sides of his temple, 2 shots to the chest. The little 20-year-old mistress he had shot one gunshot to the head, fell down at his feet.
Yeah.
So a guy named
that's a pro job right there.
Well, they're bringing up things, and this guy, I have the names right here. Just a second. So basically, SI Crimes.
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated podcast is starting a thing. This is a new series with them starting it.
Started out with McNair, huh?
It's a brand new series, and it's narrated by a guy named Tim Rohan.
Yeah.
So he's been talking to a guy named Vincent Hill. Vincent Hill was a former police officer in Nashville, got fired a couple years before this even happened, but he stayed around Nashville and followed it from afar.
Mm-hmm.
He thought, man, that don't sound right. 4 days.
Yeah.
So what's happened is the narrator there, he's went talked to everybody, and it's just not adding up. There's new facts and there's new rumors out there. Of course, rumors, I mean, you never know what to believe, but something that they I'm not going to ruin it for anybody who wants to go listen to it, but the last 2 minutes of today's, it's 30 minutes. It's going to be every week. They're taking Thanksgiving off. It's a 9-part series. The first episode is about 32 minutes long, and they revealed something in the last 5 minutes of that show that just, ooh.
Oh, yeah?
It's a rumor of what else
was going on.
What else was on the scene on Steve when they found him. It's never been told. It's just had the gunshots, and let's just say maybe a body part was missing and placed somewhere else.
Really? Something conveniently
Steve.
left out of the whole thing there, huh?
But I mean, they've always said that his wallet was missing, his wedding ring, his all this stuff. You just wonder.
Never heard about that body part missing though.
Well, nobody's ever talked about all this other stuff. It was open and closed case within 4 days.
Yeah, I'm
curious. You hate to see one of your. But Steve McNair, that was the definition of a double life. He's got kids and a wife, but he's got these other. The rumor was that the girlfriend was jealous because he had another girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, he was probably late 30s when he died. I can't remember how old he was. He'd just been retired from the NFL for a year.
Yeah.
He had this 20-year-old, and they had just got arrested. She had just got arrested a week before this, and he was in the passenger side of the Escalade he'd bought her and everything. So,
real good listen then, huh?
What'd
you call it? SI Crimes?
Yeah, it's The Fall of a Titan. If you can just Google The Fall of a Titan, and I'm interested. I'm a Steve McNair fan, of course. I'm a Titans fan, but pretty interesting. I mean, if you want to know, and nobody's really answering this guy, so he's kind of going off what this Hill guy's saying.
Right.
But his story is kind of like, who the hell is he?
Third party.
And why is he so interested?
Yeah,
at best, because like I said, he wasn't even on the squad when it happened.
Yeah,
it's worth a listen.
Huh.
I'm not going to mention. I'm going to spend 30 seconds mentioning that I'm never ever talking about the Tennessee Titans on this podcast again. They go out. When they prove they're a different Titans, you go out and you beat the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Then you lay down an egg against Buffalo. I've been to over 50 games in that stadium, probably.
Yeah.
I lived through Zach Mettenberger, Bishop Sankey, Dave Cobb, not Dave Cobb, the music producer, but David Cobb, the running back. I've got a team signed helmet from 2014 when they went 2-14. That like 75% of that helmet was not in the league. That squad was so bad. Never in that 20-year history of that stadium have they been shut out. They allowed 11 sacks this Sunday.
Oof.
Lost 21-0 to the Baltimore Ravens, who are decent. They're decent, but are
they 11 sacks?
The highest paid left tackle in league history, Taylor Lewan, a top 10 right tackle, top 10 draft pick right tackle, Jack Conklin. Our center and our right guard got money. Tell me how you give up 11 sacks. Some of them's on Mariota. Like I said, Mettenberger, all these guys, they at least kicked the field goal. We punted on every single possession Sunday. I wish like hell I had Zany's tickets that I could have left that game.
Could have went anywhere else.
We sit in the rain. Waylon's first game of the year, because Lindsey went to the first one, Van Erich went to the second one. So Waylon's first game of the year, I had to sit through that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's
Done.
it. Done.
Don't give a damn about talking about it. No other questions about the Titans. They're playing in London this week. I'm going to get up early. They play at 8:15 on Sunday morning, 8:30.
You going to watch it?
I don't want to be pissed off for lunch, all I'm saying. I'm used to being pissed off around 3. I don't want to be pissed off at lunch. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. That's it.
Hey, do you like scary movies?
Not particularly.
I only have Netflix and Amazon to watch television shows right now. Everything is either a scary movie or a scary show that's come out right now. There's vampires. There's
because it's October.
Zombies. There's scary girls coming out of your television that jumping out of damn nowhere. What have you?
I could probably handle that.
No, not this one.
No,
that's at I don't even remember what the name of it was. I don't know what the deal with all these scary movies is.
It's October.
I know it's October, but damn, man can't get can't flip through 3 movies without having to see some preview of something that's going to give him nightmares.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because
I'm 6'2", 240, and I get nightmares.
Well, I'm actually. It's funny you ask because I actually have that on just randomly because it is October and a friend of mine is doing a thing where he's watching. He only has Amazon Prime and Netflix. At home and Stars.
That's what I got. Yeah.
And so he's watching a different scary movie every day for
That's
October.
the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's his thing, so he wants to do it. He wants to watch a scary movie every day. So I
hope he has nightmares.
I have it wrote down here to ask what's your favorite scary movie.
I don't watch them. I don't watch scary movies. I literally have nightmares when I watch scary movies. Blair Witch Project. Nightmares. Waking up.
The worst. Like that. Even that gave you nightmare.
I had a nightmare the other night that Jack Nicholson. Did you ever watch The Wolf?
You talked about this before, I think, and I don't know The Wolf because I always thought you were talking about Shining, but I don't know. The Wolf.
No. Jack Nicholson as the Wolf. Let me pull that up. I had a dream of Jack Nicholson as the Wolf, popping up out of nowhere, scaring me. At one point, he was chasing me dressed as a clown. The Wolf, Jack Nicholson as the Wolf, was chasing me dressed as a clown. Look right here. This is him.
You scared of that?
Yeah. Look at him about to kill this deer right here. Yeah. Yeah, that popped up in my dreams.
Did you have a nightmare after you watched Ernest Scared Stupid?
Never watched it. I wasn't about to watch that. No, I did watch that Mother's Miak.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I remember Ernest goes to camp.
And
goes to everywhere else, but not.
I don't watch scary movies, man, because I have nightmares.
That's not even scary right there.
This right here isn't that scary. Look at this. That pops out at me every now and again when I close my eyes.
No, I think you're just a chicken shit.
This
really.
right here.
No.
That don't scare you a little bit?
Mm-mm.
Not a little bit. Well, I don't like it.
I bet when you get home at night and Kara's not
lock
here,
the doors.
No, you probably when you get out of your truck you run to the porch, don't you?
No, I got a gun. Is what I mean. I'm not
a big fan of it, man. I'm in the mindset that especially
I ain't gonna watch Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not gonna watch Michael Myers. I'm not gonna watch Halloween.
That's Michael Myers, isn't
is it?
Is that Michael
Which one's
Myers?
Jason?
Friday the 13th. He's pretty badass too. Freddy's that's a pretty stupid one, really.
Yeah.
It got dumber as it went on, as did Jason. I think Jason in the early days pretty legit though, but Michael Myers is like the real, and Leatherface. Leatherface was like based on real events.
I don't remember Leatherface.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, Texas. Yeah, that was based on Ed Gein, or Ed Gein, Gein, however you say it. That was a real dude. Whenever they went into his house, they found the entire refrigerator full of parts of women that he'd killed, and he had sewn lampshades out of people's skin that they found in his house. That was a legit.
Well, that was like Pinterest before it was a thing.
Before before it was a real thing.
Damn.
That's right. Yeah, Ed Gein.
Michael Myers on some shit.
Ed Gein was
Leatherface.
Yeah, was a bad dude.
So that's scary to me.
Yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's based on real events, and that could happen. You could get some sadistical bastard and come to do that kind of stuff
because it really happened, right?
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
Michael Myers. I mean, that could happen.
Yeah.
Now, Freddy, that's on some silly stuff right there because ain't nobody worried about going to sleep and somebody killing you to sleep with
says you.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah.
Jason, that could happen.
I don't know if the Jason one could happen, right? It was some type of mystical something, right?
Oh well, yeah, that was. I mean, the story is silly.
Now the Michael Myers was just that cat was crazy, and he was in a mental institution or something.
That happens every day.
Oh yeah,
something like that every day.
Yeah.
But now I get the legend of all those, and I can respect the genre. Now, what I don't like is movies like Hills Have Eyes, where they're just straight up like raping women in a trailer, and like all these crazy-eyed people that used to live at the end of Crabtree Creek.
Yeah, yeah, people that.
I mean,
I've seen their cousins around at the very least, right?
If it's just gory, I'm sorry, I'm out on the Rob Zombie stuff. If it's just gory and you're calling it horror, I'm not with it. If you're just going in and murdering people for the sake of murdering and don't really have a good story, I think this world's messed up enough. There's a bunch of crazy son of a bitches, and all you're doing is feeding the fire and giving these guys ideas. That's why you look at my DVD collection; it's all comedy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just not with the horror movies, really.
Yeah, I don't get with it. I don't do those horror movies. I'm not about it. I'm not going to watch the previews of one. I tell you, the shit about that Amazon Prime is that they will play a preview. Like if you click on a movie, say like I don't remember what it was, Valerian or something I was watching. They went ahead and played a horror movie flick, preview for it right before it.
Yeah.
I was done with it. I didn't.
I heard that Valerian was real deal Holyfield, like scary.
Yeah, it's pretty
scary.
good. Valerian? No, you're thinking of something else.
It's not scary.
Valerian's not.
Oh yeah, because you watched it.
Yeah.
What you got pulled up here?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought you were going to show me something.
No.
It's just boxing, not next.
Yeah.
So you were just going to talk about horror movies also?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
You had that down too?
Yeah. That was one of your
questions.
I
was scary movies. The blow. Scary movies blow ? Is what I had. His head wrote down.
I had it also.
Nightmares was the next thing. Do you have nightmares?
No, I don't believe people anybody that can believe their dreams longer than like 20 seconds, I don't trust you. I think you're making that crap up.
No way, dude.
Gary Dunham used to be like, well, blah, 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 and we're like 20 minutes into our breakfast. I'm like, come on, man. No. When I have a dream, I'll be sitting there thinking, no.
Hey, come on now. 20 minutes worth of anything out of that mouth. You knew it was a lie before you started.
Gary don't lie.
Yeah.
Gary's straight up.
Yeah.
Gary's one of the honest dudes.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
He likes storytelling.
He'll tell you a story.
He's a storyteller. Now, I miss Gary. But now, I don't. I can have a dream and be like, oh, man, I can't wait to get up and remember this, tell somebody. Then I didn't remember it. I just remember that it was a dream that I wanted to remember.
I have them all the time.
Very vivid.
To the point where Kara now pats me. Goes, it's okay. Or just pats me. Just gives me a little light pat because I come up swinging. I come up mad. I had a dream the other night I was getting eaten by an alligator. When I woke up, I had one hand on my headboard trying to climb up my headboard, kicking the pillow and the covers off in the floor. I woke up screaming before from a nightmare.
You got issues.
Out loud.
Yeah,
screaming out loud. I got up one time. I fell asleep in my chair at my apartment one time. Jason sat beside of me. I couldn't have been asleep long because he always got up and left whenever I fell asleep. So I couldn't have been asleep long. And I got up screaming and accused him of why didn't he stop that guy. He said, I don't even understand what you're talking about.
I think you're nuts.
Yeah, that's possible. I called a Fruit Loop yesterday.
Every time I have a dream, Lindsay smacks me and tells me to get off her leg. Ends it prematurely for me.
All right. As always. No nightmares then. Don't even remember your dreams, do you?
No. We went to Boo at the Zoo this weekend.
Well, I don't either then. I don't either. If it's weird that you do, then I don't either.
I don't know what to think about you anymore.
Fruit Loop.
Fruit Loop. Yeah, that's right. Fruit Loop. Hey, we went to the Knoxville Zoo.
Oh yeah.
No double dating. Nothing. Just straight up. Me and my family went
to the Knoxville Zoo.
No. It was Boo at the Zoo, so I was expecting some creep to come flying out
anywhere,
somewhere, not taking a hint about anything. Just being weird.
Yeah.
Being like a big old goober, ghostly ghoul.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good old time, man. Bayless dressed up like Spider-Man. We went and just had a big time. Family moment of my family moment of the weekend.
All right.
It was a good time. I love zoos.
I do too. I went to Nashville. We went to the Nashville Zoo back not too long ago.
The Nashville Zoo is the ghetto.
I liked it.
It's garbage. It's garbage. Knoxville Zoo's where it's at.
Yeah.
This was
I one up you. I went to the San Diego Zoo, both of them.
I went to Tampa Zoo. Where you at?
San Diego, they got two zoos. Oh. They got a ride-through park at one side. And then the other side, you just walk through it.
You got a ride-through park. I don't even know what that means.
I put a damn giraffe off of the back of a truck in one spot.
All right. Well, you got me there. They had all the animals put up, pretty much. We saw like 5 animals the whole time. It's pretty...
What'd they have them all put up for if they're having something to do? Didn't want anybody to scare them?
I guess,
Can't mess around with them monkeys.
Monkeys and the gorillas are my favorite.
Yeah, you can't have them, all them things out with them gorillas running around.
No, but it was a good time. I got one of my favorite comedies on vinyl this weekend too.
Oh yeah, what was it?
If you're living life and you've never watched Eddie Griffin, don't swear that shit, man. Listen, D.L. Hughley on repeat. Eddie Murphy, Raw and Delirious.
Oh, you got 2 of them.
Well, this one was like a vinyl that was just kind of like it's all
yeah.
Raw and Delirious mixed, I guess. I don't know. if nobody's ever heard it, man, you got the little Italian man that comes out of the theater watching Rocky. He's talking trash to this big black man, and the black man's like, "Oh, you just watched Rocky, huh?" And then you got the ice cream man, and like the time that Bill Cosby called him.
Yeah, that's a good story.
And Richard Pryor said,
"Are you getting
to the
paid?"
people laugh?
Yeah.
Tell Bill Cosby, I said, "Have a Coke with a smile. Shut the up. You cannot say the word."
Yeah, isn't that funny that he was calling Eddie Murphy and telling him what he could and couldn't say because he was giving black people a bad name in the 1990 or 89, whatever it was.
I drug women, but God forbid, don't say the F word. What's his son's name? My son went not his Cosby Show son, his real son.
Oh.
My son went to ask for the ticket money, and my wife's got the ticket money. You cannot say the word. Bill Cosby's off. I ain't done it since about 2003.
Yeah. He ain't done his Bill Cosby since 2003.
Well, I'd say he's doing it in the prison right now.
He can't see him out of that one eye.
He's got the pudding pop in his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done, Jack.
Good old pudding pop. Let's interview each other.
Well, I was about to start.
Else?
I got to start. I want to start.
All right.
DK.
Get a tampon. Let's start.
What is it that you actually do?
Blow people's minds. What do you mean?
Other than that, what do you do for work? What is it you actually do?
Oh, it's not really worth talking about.
And, go ahead and give it to us because it leads into some other questions.
Okay, well, I'm over a shipping department. I used to be, and I went from purchasing to sales. I'm working backwards, really. I'm back into shipping because I gave up my sales job.
So, how would you define yourself, though? When you think of DK, how is it that you define yourself? What are you?
I didn't know I was.
I told you it's gonna be serious.
Is there multiple choice? Like I've come with some goofy questions over here. And
no goofy question. I don't know if some of these are.
I don't know how to define myself. I go and do my job every day, and I'd hire me. I'd
hire you. I'd hire you too.
You got any openings?
No, I don't.
All right.
You're a good speaker. You get to know people really well. I don't know why that sales job wasn't the perfect thing for you. Because
I can tell you a few reasons, but I'd rather not.
I'd rather not say them.
To this thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm the only person that I know that openly gave up a salary job to go to back to hourly. But it's all good.
I do know one other guy that's done that, and he had a good time after he done that. He gave up a management position out at Bonnell and went back to salary on the floor, and like they have labor grade jobs down there starting at like 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And then you go into management or team leaders or what have you, salary positions. He went back to a labor grade 2 job from a salary manager position.
Well, I mean, there was another guy. He was a now I think about it, he was a manager at my work, and he went down to maintenance. But I mean, those maintenance guys make good money.
Maintenance makes good money.
Yeah. I mean, it's just whatever you are. I mean, like at the time, I thought I was ready for it. It was more traveling than I would have liked at the time. I like to be home with my kids.
Yeah.
I like to coach sports. I like to do podcasts with you. I mean, I'm not just your typical guy that's, I have worked there for 14 years, and I really enjoy the company. I'm not a person, and why I do think I have opportunities at that place is that I don't go and bitch.
Right.
If I bitch, it's usually jokingly. It's in a troll manner of somebody else that bitches all the time.
Right.
I just I like the people I work with. I can probably count on one hand the people I haven't liked. Now there's 3 of them that you could probably use. Multiple.
Yeah.
I really only need one finger, but but I mean, you're going to have that anywhere. And for me to work there 4 years and have less than 10 people I didn't like working with.
Right.
Now, obviously, I'm going to be straight up with you now. There's probably a lot of people that I'm going to talk to no matter where I see them.
Right.
There's the ones you don't like necessarily. There's one guys you'll mess with at work, but sometimes you're at Walmart, you'll go down the aisle so you won't have to talk to them.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
We've all done that.
Yeah.
And it ain't always
I seen you at Walmart the other day. No? No, I don't believe you did. Didn't see you. I didn't see you there.
I straight up done my aunt that way yesterday. I was at Cookville Walmart, saw her walking through. I nodded at her once. She didn't see me. I waved once. She didn't see me. I thought, I'm sitting here to get a shower head. I'm out, man. I tried twice. She didn't see me.
Yeah.
I skirted up out of there, man. I dipped a couple aisles over. But no, I do enjoy working there, and I think it'll work itself out in the long run. One thing that I did do, I got with a couple people, and I said, I hope that you understand why I did what I did.
Right.
I said, I appreciate the opportunity. I said, and I do want to do
move
this
forward,
again.
Yeah.
And I'm straight up with people.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, I don't think you know where you stand with me, generally.
Right.
I'm not the type that's not going to say nothing to you. You know, a lot of people say, I just won't fool with you if I don't like you.
Right.
I'm usually going to say something.
Right.
Then I ain't going to mess with you.
Right.
Or sometimes I don't mess with you.
You're going to know why that moment of silence came.
Yeah. But if you kind of suck, man, if I don't try to fool with you a little. I mean, really?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to fool at least everybody.
Right. A little bit.
Not in a sexual way.
Well, I mean, sometimes that too. Right.
But,
so all that being said, the reason I asked why, what defines you? How do you define yourself, right? Nothing in that did I hear anything about music. Nothing in that did I hear anything about sports. I thought you meant about
work. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
What makes you so interested in sports? How did you get so interested in football and basketball? Where did that come from? What spawned that? Because you only played basketball that I remember.
That's all we had.
We had baseball. But to my recollection, you didn't play baseball.
I have always been scared to fail,
right?
Like anybody else. And I thought
human nature, right?
And I was a lot better basketball player when we got out of school because when the lights were on and when people were looking, I was always nervous.
Right.
I remember being out there, my hands being sweaty.
Hands wet. Yeah.
Baseball, I never had played. I was such a bashful person when I was little. Believe that or not, I was so timid and shy. I didn't play t-ball. I was scared of being around other people.
Really? So you didn't even play t-ball?
No, I just never have. But now, it's funny, like everybody says, why don't you, do I get excited going to work? No, I don't. I don't
know anybody that genuinely does.
If you do something you love, if I worked with music or worked with sports, obviously, because that's two of my biggest passions, if not my two biggest passions. But what I didn't put on my resume, I remember when you go from, not resume, but when you go from 8th grade to 9th grade, they make you put 3 jobs that you want to do, right? One of them was school teacher by default, which I kind
of wanted to.
You know what's funny about it is I've all my college credits are in school teaching, but look how loosely associated I am with the school system. Basically, I work with the school system without getting a paycheck.
Right.
I announce middle school football games.
Right.
I broadcast the high school, high school football games. I'm broadcasting high school basketball games. I coached the middle school basketball team with another guy. I'm doing all this stuff for the school, volunteer work.
Mm-hmm.
So I love being around. I do love being around the kids.
Would you say at that point that all of that was prescribed by Connie Wayne Delahaye?
Oh yeah,
the way he interacted with the kids, and the love he had for taking the kids on ball games and stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I think about a lot of times, and that's what kills me. The kids be goofing off. Sometimes I'm like, man, we didn't say this from our coach. Yeah, that was a big influence of that. I thought, man, if that, him and Mr. Cherry and a lot of those teachers, I thought, that'd be pretty cool. The other thing I put was like a disc jockey. I put disc jockey.
You're right.
But you're taught from an early age that you don't make no money doing that.
Right.
If you stay local.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere on there did I say I wanted to build heating elements. Right?
Right.
And even when I went into sales, when I had that job opportunity to go sell cars, I was like, I love cars and I love blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I could ever sell heaters because they're heaters at the end of the day. How passionate do you get about selling heaters?
Right.
And I tried, but like I said, love to have an opportunity again in the future. But okay, what you're talking about though, I'm sorry. Reason I started loving sports, only sport I'd ever watched was WWF, which is give it or take it, whatever sport, wherever you fit that in at. But when I found Shaq, when I found Shaq, I started watching basketball. I'm telling you,
it was his personality too.
That's what, yeah, and that's what we talked about. Like I said, is he a top 10 player of all time? Absolutely. Had the work ethic of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant? You're talking top 3 or 5 player probably of all time with his skill set that people refuse to believe he had. But yeah, and it was just his goofball personality. But I don't think you got a Hall of Fame career with 4 championships. For me, I wished he would have sacrificed a little bit of the rapping, acting, being silly.
Put more effort into the ball.
I mean, it'd have been 6 or 7 championships easy.
Right.
He played 19 years, but I mean, only about 14 of those productively.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he made me like that, and I wasn't even a big football fan for years. I mean, I didn't never go to a Steve McNair, Eddie George game during those years. I think my first game ever was like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was in town, so I watched the greatest quarterback of all time my first time there and didn't even realize
what you were seeing.
What I was watching, really.
Right.
But I guess once Shaq started, his career dwindled down. The Titans are here, and I don't know. So I'll never have as much love as much as you see me going to Titans stuff. NBA is always my first love.
Right.
I hate that it's kind of went to the
where it's at now.
Yeah, I hate that it's went to the power teams and super teams and all these divas that bitch and whine on social media all the time and on the court. I hate where it's went, but NBA is always my true love. And music, I've just brought up on music.
Well, which brings me to my next question, because these next 3 questions are going to be that one and the next 2 are going to be the 3 biggest questions that I get asked about you. So I thought, why not bring them up on the show?
Okay.
What is it about music that draws you to it? Because, again, to my knowledge, you don't have any musical abilities. You've never played an instrument, anything like that.
No.
None of your family did, as far as I know.
No, it's really
Where did that come from? Where did that passion? Because it's not like you like to listen to music. You know the music like you know your sports. It come from. You even said football didn't come till 2005. How did you amass such a knowledge base of football since 2005? And how did you amass such a knowledge base of music? Where did all that come from?
With I think once I hear something and once I study up on it, Hannah Smith's nephew, one of Matthew's kids, Lane, he was talking. I heard him on the bench during the AAU tournament, and he was quizzing each other.
Right.
And I was like, man, I ain't trying to butt it on these kids. And I was like,
right.
Then I start quizzing him, and me and him, like, man, it's like, oh, did we just come best friends? I'm talking to this 9-year-old on the bench. He's like, how do you know so much? It's like, how do you know so much?
Right.
And Waylon's kind of geared that way too. Waylon's pretty.
Get on something and start studying it.
Yeah. But now I can tell you right now, like if we start rattling off stuff, that's why I trolled William a little bit. I'm like, bitch, if you're gonna get on talking sports with me, I don't need Google.
Right.
Okay, if it's something I know.
Right.
When I'm trying to reply to you, and you done edited that stuff. You done edited that stuff because I threw some real numbers off the top of my head at you. And William is very smart. Like I said, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't know the sports. I mean, I can still tell you. At one time, I was able to go back from whatever current year it was and tell you like every NBA champion, working backwards to the 1970s.
Right.
Could tell you a lot of times who the MVP of that season was. I don't know. It's a weird. I can tell you that Elliott Brown's house number was 699-3542, and I ain't called it in 25 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got this weird thing for
stats and
stats and everything.
Where'd the music come from, though?
And I don't know. I think it's just the realness of music, and that's why I just love the country music I do listen to.
Right.
Growing up, my dad always had a record player.
Yeah.
And I remember the first 3 albums that I ever remember hearing. This is the first. I mean, Creedence Clearwater, the Chronicle.
Yeah.
Album, which is God dang, it's awesome. How many ever songs is on that thing? Creedence Clearwater, ZZ Top, and Hank Williams Jr.'s Born to Boogie album. And
that says a lot.
Yeah. It's in him.
Yeah.
It's got to come out. ODK wanted a boogie woogie at an early age. I mean, Creedence Clearwater, ZZ Top, and Hank Jr., and then Bad Company, the 10-6 album, was in there too. It's the first 4 vinyls albums I guess I ever heard. And I don't know, riding to work with my mom every morning from North Springs to Moss. She'd have it on 94.7, so I learned all the Travis Tritt, George Straits, Garth Brookses from that era. And then I kind of got into that teenage years where there was that angry rock a little bit.
Yeah.
I never got angry about it. Then there's the rap. But I can't, even as cool, and I still like going back listening to rap music.
Old rap music.
Old rap music.
Yeah.
I still like listening to all that stuff we grew up on, but it's just something about sitting around and just hearing a story. He's not the best podcast listen. He's not the best concert sometimes, but man, find yourself in a Chris Knight album.
Right.
Oh,
he can tell a story on an album.
I mean, you can't hang yourself if you ain't got enough rope.
Right.
I mean, it's just certain lyrics, and I don't know. That's just, and you're right. I couldn't if even when it gets down to, well, you're talking about playing this in G, Travis Humphreys, he'll come in here and be like, "Oh man, when he was playing that, he was down in G,
yeah,
but he need to be up here." And I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know that side of music whatsoever.
Right.
But I know just the realness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're from rural America here. When you listen to a Chris Knight or Tyler Childers song, and it's just relatable.
Yeah, very relatable. And so, would you say that then what draws you into it then, and I believe this is what you said, is that just that it makes you feel like you're at home at that point, that relatableness.
Yeah,
you feel like you know those people.
Yeah, and that's why I tell you what, I never met. That's why I went and had a full-fledged conversation with Cody Jinks.
Yeah,
and didn't even think about it. Thought I was at Patty's place at a bar stool with him.
Having somebody.
God almighty, man. I mean, that song's Somewhere in the Middle. If you guys never heard Cody Jinks Somewhere in the Middle, I can relate to every bit of that song except for selling guitars on the West Coast, because it says driving the forklift in a cold warehouse, cold out,
Yeah.
Driving the forklift at 3 a.m. And when I first worked at Tutco, I was driving forklifts at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It says bartending, and whether it's a saint or a sinner, you're talking to, everybody. And I remember my nights working behind the bar at Woolly Bullies and looking out, and you had people that you could tell they were there.
Right.
They were lost. And then you had your other guys just come in there and you talk to, and then the next time you go to church, you can relate to everybody, and we all put our pants on one leg at a time. And that song is just so, it's just, then, my mama died. He's got that song, Mama Song, talking about how much hell he raised, and she always worried about him.
Right.
It's just, country music is just so easy to relate. And, whether you're raised in a ghetto in Oakland, California, and NWA appeals to you, or whether your parents divorced and you heard fussing and fighting, and you have anger build up, and the rock music speaks to you. I can sit around at a bonfire, or I can get on my rhino and ride up in the Zeke field with nothing around but a little 4-point deer coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Knight's talking about, I built a fire up in the hill, put a bunch of little bullet holes in a beer can.
Right. I've always thought that there's no difference in between the music that come out, the NWA, whenever it come out from where they were from, and the Kid Rock music that come out of Detroit when he was singing about, stuff that happens in Detroit, and the music that comes out like Chris Knight, guys like that. I've always thought there's no difference in that. It's pretty much the same thing with just a different tone to it.
It is, and even the pop country bullshit that's out, it happens. Now, I'm still waiting to go to a bonfire where a girl's up in a damn flannel shirt tied up, and she's got her ass cheeks hanging out,
dancing around in those fat baby boots or whatever.
Yeah. Because let me tell you something. Every bonfire I've ever been to, girls got hoodies on. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you have the real bonfires. Yeah.
I'm still waiting to go to that bonfire, but other than that,
yeah,
that stuff is also. Like we've mentioned it. No doubt when you're 19, 20, 21 years old.
That's the stuff you're thinking about at the very least.
That's where these guys need to progress a little bit. Yeah, of course, when I was 21, I wanted a little brunette with Daisy Dukes, and we were going to go get some beer, and we was going to ride where there was no lights. Down by the riverbank with her cutoffs with a shine, or, all the little all the stuff that they throw out there, that's absolutely the life we lived, or some of us did.
Right. It wasn't me, but
missed out.
Yeah. So
I did too.
This is probably the most asked question that I get. What is it about going and meeting people, celebrities, any of that?
Yeah.
What is it about that you like so much?
Here's one thing that's misinterpreted. It's not just any celebrity, right?
It's particular ones.
It is,
right?
And that's one of the most misconstrued things. Is like, there's 75 former athletes hanging. No, it's not. If you look at it, generally, it is wrestlers that I grew up watching.
Right.
Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, whoever. Or it's Titans, past or present.
Right.
Or musicians.
Right.
It's not like I'm out meeting fucking Goldie Hawn.
Right.
Or,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at that.
No,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's always like, it's not just random people.
Right.
It's at some point has or does have an influence on my life.
Right.
I'm not stalking Betty White at the airport. I mean, it's and I almost get a little pissy about it.
Right.
Depending on who asks.
Who asks and how they ask.
If you
attitude with how they ask.
If there's some smug bitch comes up and says
that smug attitude, I cannot take it.
Yeah. And one time I asked this cat, I said, "Hey man," I said, "Brett Favre's in town in Knoxville, you want to go with me?" And he goes, "Oh, you gonna
stalk him?
You gonna blow him, or whatever,
Yeah.
And I went, "You know what?" I said, "I don't know why I asked you."
Right.
I said, "Of course you're not going to understand it. You don't ever leave the one little town you live in."
Right.
But like now, if you ask me or Clint says it in a funny way, I know you guys get it to a certain extent. Now James Hatcher gives me a hard time about it. He don't really get it so much, but I mean, like, yeah, it's just look around. Go to my Facebook or my Instagram sometime. It's not random people. Like, I'm not taking pictures with
Taylor Swift.
I mean, it's not like people I don't have some sort of emotionally
attachment
and it's not for everybody. Right. I don't like to go camping. You know what I'm saying? I could give a shit less about being piled up in a hot ass camper.
Yeah, all night
sitting
long
out there with bugs eating at me, drinking cold beer in front of my kids all day.
Right.
That's not me. I don't care about camping.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
And I've enjoyed everybody's Instagram stories that are doing it. I don't know. And sometimes I think, of course I've got huge into memorabilia and sports memorabilia, and it's just like I like getting rare things, and that's where I spend a lot of my money, my extra money or something on, I've got a good collection of sports music memorabilia. That a lot of people are interested in that question.
A lot of people are interested in that one.
I get a lot of, what do you do for a living?
Right. That's literally why I started with that.
Yeah, what does he do? What does Dustin do? How does he get to know all these people? But
yeah,
it just come to a certain point that I think it's cool that I can text Keith Bullock, and him answer me, or text Cody Canada, and it's not me being a mark, as the wrestling business says. Maybe it is, maybe it is.
Right.
Maybe I think it's cool that my favorite musician will text me back and we can bullshit a little bit. Now, am I friends with that person? No,
right.
But I mean, I don't know. To answer your question, I guess it's not for everybody. But like I said, it's not like I'm out here looking for Screech. Okay?
Right.
I mean, there's all kinds of former comedians that come to Zany's that I don't try to beat down the door, try to take a selfie with.
Right.
Now, if Kelly comes, I'm gonna go ahead and put you out there. Kelly Kapowski comes anywhere in the Nashville area.
Yeah,
I may go.
Yeah, Elizabeth Berkley, holler at me.
That was my second love, was Kelly Kapowski behind Daisy Duke, who I've met and took a picture with.
The original or Jessica Simpson?
No, the original.
Yeah.
So I don't know, different people, different things. I don't. It's just I don't, like I said, it's only a certain few.
Right.
Okay. There's several NBA stars I'd love to meet. There's still a ton of people I'd love to meet in old school NBA. I'd love to meet Jordan, Charles Barkley, Kobe Bryant, Robert Horry. But like I said, if Sam Hunt was on the front porch right now, I wouldn't walk out there.
You're right.
All right.
Right.
So people need to just realize, I do go a lot. Luckily, I have an understanding wife that doesn't mind me going and doing things, mingling with people,
and prefers you to get the hell out of her life sometime.
But I mean, it's cool to if after we've interviewed Jason Eady
to go hang out with him for a minute.
Why wouldn't if he says come see me at the show and we're sitting there hanging out for an hour after the show?
Right? Why wouldn't you do it? Last question, somewhat tied to that one, or not somewhat, a lot tied to that one. Do you stalk people, famous people, and how many of them are you currently stalking?
See,
how do you know? For all the people that want to know, because I get this all the time.
Yeah.
How in the hell do you know where all these people are going? How in the hell do you know that somebody's going to be at some hotel in Nashville?
See, that's the first misunderstanding. I don't go to hotels and I don't go to airports.
Right.
Therefore, and I'm going to tell you, and this is not a shot at people that don't go places.
Right.
But sometimes when you pick up things other than the Citizen Statesman or the Del Hollow, whatever in the hell it's called, and 2011 or 12 was the first time I ever really met. I mean, roundabout. And it was through Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter.
Right.
I follow all musicians, athletes on there. Believe it or not, this is hard to believe, I know. But every now and then, everything that I go to, 90% of the time, always, they will say, I will be appearing at 104.5 Sports Fest this Saturday from 11 to 2.
Yeah.
I will be at Kroger from blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't have people's airport information.
You don't know where people are landing,
what
time their flight is and shit.
I'm not educated enough on that. I've been to the airport twice in my life.
Yeah.
One time to fly to Denver and to fly back to Nashville.
Yeah.
And then to pick up X-Pac for a buddy of mine because I was in Memphis and the guy was doing the show and asked me to pick up X-Pac.
Right.
And if I didn't have Don Asbury with me that day, I wouldn't have had a freaking clue
how to get to that airport.
Even get in the airport, right?
Right.
So you can mark that off your list. Okay.
Hotels.
So then the other one is, let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, Shawn Michaels, my favorite professional wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
I've met him 3 times.
Yeah.
One time, he tweeted and said, I'll be at Barnes & Noble in Nashville, Tennessee, promote my new book. Mm-hmm. So I stood in line with about 400 other stalkers
at Barnes & Noble.
At Barnes & Noble while it was open,
right.
Not in the alley.
Right.
So between these jack-off questions, this energy drink, y'all got me cussing and everything else back here. The second time I met him was at a with the Turkey Federation.
NWTF?
And he was like, he's
big in the World Turkey Federation, isn't he?
He's got a thing with Mossy Oak, and Hank Jr. did a concert. I mean, Hank Jr. and Shawn Michaels, hell.
Right.
You think I'm missing that?
Hell no.
So then, another time was some other thing at the convention center where, believe it or not, it was put on there, come meet Shawn Michaels.
Oh, hell.
Shaquille O'Neal, book signing, basketball camp, and a Halloween bash. 3 public events.
That it was probably posted somewhere that he was going to be there.
Yeah, now it wasn't in the Citizen Statesman.
Right.
It wasn't in the Jackson County Sentinel.
Right.
It wasn't on Topics. It wasn't on the blackboard at Herman Springs School. Okay? Now, it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
So God forbid me evolve and get, now I didn't have.
So what you're saying is that you don't stalk people. You follow them on Twitter or Instagram or insert social media here. And when they post that they're going to be there, you make a decision as to whether or not you may go to that.
Yeah, and sometimes
you don't.
Yeah, sometimes my dial up, and I'm still on dial up and everything else, and I'm trying to catch up with the times here, But yeah, and then believe this or not, when you don't go watch douchebag country singers that fill up 20,000 seat arenas, when you just go see these little independent guys that I listen to, there's about 100 people in the room. Sometimes, they'll go over to their merchandise booth after the show, inside the arena that I've paid a ticket for.
Yeah.
And they'll meet you, and they'll take
selfies
if they're feeling mighty kind, they'll take a picture with you.
How many times a week do you get asked who you're stalking this week?
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time I posted a picture of me and Albert Hainsworth, and Clint's like, "Oh, nice for you to stalk him." I was like, "Oh yeah," at his restaurant during a homecoming weekend that he said, "Hey, come by my new restaurant on Cumberland and tell me what you think about our burgers." So I sat there with Big Al, ate his burger, and talked for about 20 minutes.
Right.
Stalking, man.
There it is.
Currently, if anybody hears of any Robert Ory stalking opportunities, Robert Ory's one of the Lakers.
Your game right now.
Yeah. If anybody wants to donate the $475 it takes to do a Hank Jr. meet and greet, I will go stalk him openly.
Yeah.
I mean, people are stupid, man.
$475.
It's something like that. $400.
Holy crap!
I mean, that comes with a ticket, front row ticket, I think.
Should have better come with something else for that.
Yeah. But I get a little aggravated about that.
I know you did. That's why I put it last.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, man. I get it. I'm on there, but it necessarily. I mean, really, I want people to do their due diligence here.
Yeah.
Look, and it's not somebody that I don't support, dude. It's people I'm fans of, and sorry, I've got a broad spectrum. Hell yeah, I was happy to meet Mean Gene Okerlund. And I don't give a damn if it pissed anybody off or some y'all make fun of me. Look, I quit caring, Lucas. Used to when I said I was afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's gone.
I quit giving a damn about what anybody. I got a lot of followers on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and I promise you, I know 100% that every one of them ain't with what I'm doing.
Right.
Or I know for 30% of them's making fun of them to their buddy or promise.
Don't give a damn.
I have finally at 35 years almost, 5 years old almost, became comfortable enough in my skin that I don't give a damn. If you don't like about me posting videos about Shaq, you don't like me posting videos about taking pictures of people, sorry that while you were home cooped up in your house that I was taking Jaeger bombs with Shooter Jennings and I took a picture with it. I don't care.
Right. I
don't care.
Well, there you go, folks. There's DK interview number 2.
Put that in your pipe and smoke
Put that in your pipe.
Well, I didn't really know that was going that direction.
That was different, wasn't it? You wasn't expecting that, was you?
I wasn't. I actually just had your questions, and I didn't know that. I thought my question would be next week. I wasn't ready to be on the spot.
Yeah, I knew that, and I knew that you thought that you would probably get an opportunity to go first, so I knew that you wasn't ready for it at all.
Nah.
After our texting back and forth this week.
I'm kind of a hypocrite talking out both sides of my mouth. I say I don't give a damn what people think, and I go full crazy on that answer. But
right.
It's just I've listened to that for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, but I get it.
I've heard it a bunch of times from a bunch of different people, and I know you've brought it up to me. Most of that stuff you brought up to me at some point.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah. So I just wanted you to answer it for everybody.
I am aware. I hope that clarifies that for everybody, clears that up, that no, I'm not out here at airports. I hope that we can all understand.
Move past that at some point.
Understand that I'm aware, but I also want them to be aware that I'm aware that they're aware.
I see you seeing me over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You damn right.
Yeah.
So now we'll get to this part, and I don't know.
Realistically, the reason that I had all those questions prepared, and the reason that I had that is because I knew that we could get some time out of that.
Yeah,
and I knew that no matter, you could do 24 questions and you're going to get about 12 minutes out of answers.
No, I don't think so. But I did not have the time to prepare it like I wanted to. So it's kind of all over the place.
Depending on what your topics are, I guess.
Well, what I get a lot of times from this show is, like you said during the interviews, I do all the talking.
Yeah.
We know that. We knew that coming in. We've known that all along, especially if I'm on interview.
We've knew it since 1997.
Yeah. So I feel like it's not fair to our listeners not to know what Lucas is about. We know you don't. We know you have very keen interest or not
particular.
I won't say interest. Opinions on two things we don't talk about on the show.
Religion and politics.
Religion and politics, and I got one half of those for about 20 minutes, you damn Fruit Loop, before the show started. I know where you stand pretty well for what, two things in my life that I don't talk about or think about a lot as far as the general spectrum is religion and politics.
Right.
So
you don't think about them a lot, and so they're not in your atmosphere.
Right.
I think about them way too much, so I keep them out of my atmosphere whenever I can.
And you actually said you were going to mention that. One of them, you thought about going into.
I thought about it,
and I'm glad. I mean, and I said, wait a minute. And so me and Mackie, and I won't say what it is, obviously, since Lucas took the time to edit it last weekend. But me and Mackie made a joke that felt. Maybe I've said some things on here that I didn't realize I said, Lucas. Like, I think we lost some people with some of the things you said on the past show that I wasn't aware of. So Lucas said, I thought about touching that this week. I went, I can't make that joke, but you're going to go on there and alienate about 90% of our fan base.
Of it. And I don't want it to come off. I don't want that to come off as I'm anti anything.
No, I didn't say. I didn't say.
And I would say I about dimed it in as to which one you're talking about. So I'll just quit. Go ahead.
So that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But what are like what kind of gets you what's your interest? Like, you talk about my passion, and we all know it's sports and music, but I know what they are, but get our listeners like maybe 2 or 3 things that just really get you excited.
So I have a little bit of an issue with, and I assume that's where you were going to go. I have a little bit of issues with getting excited about something.
Yeah.
Realistically, I don't get excited in the way that other people would get excited about stuff. I don't get excited about anything. I don't get worked up. I don't get tore down about it, except for those 2 things that we were talking about. I'll get worked up over those depending on how the day's going.
You get so far into those, you use words that I don't even know what they mean.
And that's why I don't have
close.
That's why I don't have those conversations, right? Because sometimes I'm more prepared for those situations than other people, so I just don't get into them. Anyway, as far as getting excited, I don't. There's nothing that I do or nothing that I've ever done that gets me worked up and excited. When I used to race 4-wheelers, I would get a little nervous prior to racing 4-wheelers. But then in my nature, I question a lot of things. I ask a lot of questions of myself in general, or more particularly, I ask a lot of questions of myself. So I would start questioning myself as to why I'm nervous about that. So the only real reason to be nervous in a race is the fact that you get yourself into a situation where you're going to get hurt and you have some other obligation that you have to be ready for. So the only thing you have to do is to realize that race is not that important, that you get hurt. Don't put yourself into some kind of bad situation. And then that just goes away. So as far as getting excited about things, I don't. As far as things that I'm interested in, super interested in Mustangs. Old Mustangs, yeah. I'm a redneck. I like a Mustang. I don't like Mustangs that people have turned into, put ground effects on and got a V6 with a blew out exhaust on it and all that stuff. But you got a nice, clean old Mustang. You got a 65 coupe, which I have a 65 coupe that I'm working on. Or you got a 68 fastback, you got an Eleanor, you got something that makes it interesting, then I'm interested in it. I like old trucks. Makes me interested.
I'm disappointed you don't have a Kid Rock mustache, and I'm disappointed you have sleeves in that shirt. Go ahead.
Yeah, and a Trans Am. Motorcycles and 4-wheelers. That interests me, but I'll be done with it real quick.
You used to scare me on that motorcycles. You got
you
got a little crazy on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I had a Roach Crockett there at one point in time. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It'd do 135 on the on-ramp before you hit the interstate coming off of Willow.
See, that's
hitting the interstate. Yeah, it's too fast. It's simply way too fast.
I get nervous on motorcycles in the arcades.
Yeah.
You're up here on the interstate.
I did 174 in between the exits, in between the Jefferson exit and the Willow exit one time. I did 174 in between the exits. Now, that being said, I was going about 110 whenever I got on the interstate. I got up to 174 and then exited, which was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life because the entire time God knows, everybody on this podcast knows that my head is big. I come up from behind the windshield because it's got this little bitty windscreen, right? I come up from behind the windshield and the air caught my helmet and damn near ripped my helmet off at 174. It never occurred to me not to lean my big noggin up. And when I did, I about lost it because it gave me the speed wobbles to some degree, and then I about got off. So cars, motorcycles, trucks. And in business, if you want to talk business, I'll be interested in that. I'll talk business with you for a little while. But most of the time, if I'm talking to somebody else, it's going to turn into me asking you more questions than what you actually realized I was going to ask you. I'm going to wind up interviewing somebody more than what they think. So you're going to wind up talking to me a lot more than I'm going to wind up talking to you.
Was that important for you because you had a pretty good job that most people would die to have?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you hated it, give or take.
Give or take, yeah. Give or take, it wasn't me, right?
Right. And I come down here and I thought, and understandably so, you didn't know who was listening to that show, and
right.
you didn't want to you didn't want to show the true Lucas at some point. More on that later.
Right.
And I come in here today and I said, God dang, kid, you look like just an old Cheshire cat. And I said, what the hell's up with you? You're looking all creepy. You said, I just quit my job today. And I said, what?
Yeah.
What the hell? And I said, you've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And you just walked away from a good job, but it was your dream you've been talking about it for years, be your own boss.
Being my own boss. Yeah, that's right. And having my own thing going on. And I may have stopped you before you actually asked a question because I didn't actually catch a question there, but there
you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I had a real good job. And really, really enjoyed the people that I worked with. And that's actually what kept me there as long as it did. Or as long as I was there, is the people. Because, God, there's just some good down-home people that I've worked with over time and that I'll always think a lot of. But what I was doing just wasn't me. It just wasn't what I had in mind for myself. I never saw myself working for somebody else, which realistically, I'll never rule out going back. Because I'll do whatever I have to do to support my family,
right,
whether I like it or not. Or whether I'm, people say you have to love your job, and I don't necessarily believe that because you have to support your family, and that's what you have to love. You have to love your family. You don't have to love what you're doing to support them. You just have to love the end goal of what you're doing.
You just got to find that. You got to find that balance,
the happy medium.
And I'm not sure that you had that balance.
No, not at that point. I didn't.
By me saying, I'm not sure you did. 100% you didn't have that balance.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So I would go back, and I wouldn't hate it because most of the people that I worked with, I would go back to Bonnell, and that's where I was at. If most people don't know, I would go back to Bonnell if they would have me, if they had a spot for me, if I needed it, and they needed me at that point in time, I would go back, and I would go back into the professional life and what have you. I am an engineer. I have been classically trained as an engineer, and so I do offer some sort of skills that are desirable out in the workforce, but it just wasn't me doing that 9-to-5 thing that just and not being able to. The problems that are going on aren't my problems. They're only my problems because I've taken on a role that makes those my problems. So I wanted something that was mine to be able to do. And luckily, I found a partner and that would has allowed me to step into that role and fill that role as much as I wanted to, and he's taken on his role, and we share a lot of those responsibilities, and that helps a lot. So that was a nice way to be able to step out.
And that's going good.
Yeah, it's going all right.
Get your own problems.
Yeah,
they're your problems.
That's right.
You ain't got to depend on anybody else to straighten it out.
Right.
What's some things that we don't cover as often here on the podcast that you'd like to see covered?
Fitness, obviously. I'd like to talk more about lifting weights, but
which another passion that
I
enjoy that you left off a while ago.
Yeah, I would say so. It's something I've been doing for 20 years. I bought, actually 21 years. I bought my first set of weights when I was 12, and and I've been lifting to some degree ever since. Now I'll take time off here and I'll take time off there, and I've lifted with a bunch of different people. I go from working out with people, wanting to work out with other people, to wanting to work out by myself, depending on time. And, and it really takes the right workout partner whenever you're working out with somebody else. You've got to have similar goals. You've got to have similar aspirations and realistically knowledge. You've got to have similar knowledge as to what the things, you got to be able to learn and push each other when you go. So, I really like discussing that stuff. I like talking about it. But, I'm the type that likes to get in the weeds on stuff, and getting into the nitty gritty on stuff doesn't always
appeal to everybody.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Not everybody's wants to talk about form and, the which muscles and how to actually target a muscle and, the mind muscle connection and this and that. You can get down to the nitty gritty on some of that stuff, and man, you lose people quick on it. And it takes, even for me to have that conversation, I don't have that conversation in private, off of the air much, because it takes a particular type of person to be able to carry on that conversation with. They got to want to do it too.
And I'd imagine a lot of people that's doing it with you is looking for that instant gratification. They're thinking they're going to come in here 3 times and lift.
Well, sometimes, yeah, right. Some people think that some people believe that abs are made in the gym. You can't tell them any otherwise. And some people think that, you lifted for 6 weeks. Or I lifted for 6 weeks. Why don't I look like that guy in the magazine? Well, that's a lie that's been perpetrated to everybody since the 70s, whenever Arnold was in the first magazine, where those other guys, they're juicing. You're not going to look like that in 6 weeks unless you're getting some help, You can go to the doctor if you get on our age and above. You can go to the doctor and get on that TRT, and then, 6 weeks looks a lot different than your last 6 weeks. But
I always like the guys that come into a gym, they wouldn't look at you in the face, and they get on juice and they stare you down.
Yeah.
They're the cats, and they're wearing the hood.
That's a false confidence, right? And they get that, and then lo and behold, they start using too much, and then their skin turns a little green. They get a pale color to them. Their eyes get a little sunken in, but they've got some good veins coming out in them forearms. They. And then they come off of it, and then they're back to a hood over their head, and won't look you in the eyes anymore. They get that false confidence goes away, and then they've screwed up their endocrine system for, if you was on it for 6 months, you've screwed it up for at least a year, or maybe longer, depending on what you do, and especially if you're taking those good old boys down home Gold's Gym steroids, that you don't know what you got in the first place.
Yeah, the 2 most annoying people I've ever seen in a gym was the skinny bastard that wants to pose shirtless all the time. You don't have abs, you have rib cage.
Right.
Okay, first off.
Yeah, abs on a skinny guy is like boobs on a fat girl, right?
Exactly. And then the steroid guy, the guy that's got the false sense of
false bravado walking around. I can lift 500 pounds this week. Where you at? Why ain't you bench pressing 225 for us at 20? Where you at?
And then when he runs out of money or gets off the cycle, he ain't looking you in the eye.
Yeah.
Arnold or Rich Froning, who would have inspired you more? You're more of an Arnold guy.
I'm an Arnold guy and always have been. Arnold was, won Mr. Olympia 7 times. He's one of the 4 people, I believe, that won Mr. Olympia 7 times. And he's the poster that I had on the wall whenever I was 13. He's the poster that I had on the wall when I was in college. I bought Arnold Schwarzenegger's Bodybuilding Bible twice. I'm an Arnold guy. Now, that being said, I have a lot of respect for Rich, what Rich has done. Arnold, I like the look, that classic physique, I still follow bodybuilding now, but the bodybuilders now have that big distended gut. They get on HGH, and that gives them, I think it's called plumbism, where your gut distends way out. I don't like that look. Frank Zane, Arnold, Franco Columbu back in the day. Franco Columbu was so short and stocky that it made him look kind of blocky, but he still had that tight gut. And I think Frank Zane probably looked better than Arnold. Just from my perspective, but Arnold was the man. One of the first movies I remember seeing was Terminator, and seeing Arnold coming in, and then Conan the Barbarian, and just anything that Arnold did over time, I was all about it. So Rich Froning versus Arnold all day long. But I think if you ask Rich Froning, Rich versus Arnold, he would say Arnold all day long.
Well, he's the Babe Ruth. He's the Michael Jordan. He's the
GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the bodybuilding GOAT. But Rich Froning, I have a lot of respect for Rich Froning for what he's able to do. I mean, functional fitness is what CrossFit is, and the way Rich does it and his career in CrossFit has been, I mean, nothing short of inspiring to multiple people. So more practical, Rich Froning. More aesthetically pleasing to me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But, again, though, if you look at Rich's physique versus those classic bodybuilder guys, Rich is probably as big or bigger than those guys were. If he shredded down, and I don't know that he's ever, he's never in bad shape. He's the fittest man on earth multiple times. He's never in bad shape, but he carries probably north of 8% body fat, somewhere in that 8 to 10 range. And those guys when they get on stage carry like 3% or less now. But Rich Gaspari would come in, in a float tank. He was unreadable, his body fat percentage. He's down to 0%. If Rich were to get into that 3% body fat range, I would say he would put that classic physique group, give him a good run for their money. He's got a classic physique. I would think if he got down that low in body fat percentage.
It's just, would you say this CrossFit has kind of taken over the nation so much that it's kind of surpassed in popularity just the bulking up of a bodybuilder?
Yeah, see, I would say that short of, and it's yet to be seen with CrossFit because CrossFit is so new. Bodybuilding really it hasn't been mainstream since 1980.
Yeah.
So it had a short span,
When stuff started getting illegal, it took a hit.
It took a big hit, right?
Yeah.
So nothing that CrossFit does is illegal. CrossFit promotes functional fitness. CrossFit promotes a healthy lifestyle. Bodybuilding does not promote a healthy lifestyle in general if you get into the weeds of it, right? So if you're on the steroids and you're on the stuff, and those guys take high doses of diuretics to get shredded for those shows, and those guys are literally close to dying when they're on stage. I mean, there's been guys fall out. There's been more guys die from the diuretics and cutting for a contest than there have been actual cases of people dying from steroids. So those, bodybuilding isn't necessarily a healthy lifestyle thing. Where CrossFit is, and I can see how it could have more staying power than, unless it starts getting tarnished by a lot of steroid claims and stuff like that.
And it's out there.
Oh yeah, and there was one guy that was on the last CrossFit show that was on Netflix, and I can't think what the name of it was, that actually got kicked out of the CrossFit Games. He had, and this is probably 2016 or 17, and anyway, he had took like third or fourth place, and he actually got kicked out of the CrossFit Games for X number of years because he got popped for steroids. So, as long as they can keep that out, I think it'll have more staying power.
How old were you when you finally balanced that big ass head?
I was probably 25, something like that.
When
it finally got big enough to balance around. That was the first time anybody ever come to me and shout out to Randy Cherry and said, "Hey, your body finally caught up with your head." He said, "I don't notice that your head is so big anymore because your body finally caught up with it."
I'd say if you were you that kid sitting in high school basketball games, like, well, that was a good dunk, wasn't it? Mr. Diddley, it was a good dunk.
Yeah.
Head all bobbling and shit like this.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't on purpose. I mean, Cliff would have to reach over every now and again and just stop it.
You were the bobblehead before bobblehead was cool.
I didn't even know it was bobbling. I was that guy that was answering yes all the time. Everybody thought I was agreeing with them all the time, and it just bouncing around.
Man, you're one of the most determined people I know. And I know the answer. I feel like I know this answer, but where does that come from? Your determination. You get your mind set on something, son. It's gonna happen.
Coel Hickman has a big thing to do with it. Gene Hickman has another big thing.
That's a lot to do with it right there. Isn't it?
Yeah. I never seen Gene Hickman carried he told me one time about carrying a pig home. He carried it through a holler. Carried it 3 miles or something on his shoulders because he was bound and determined not to lose it. Yeah. And and there was nothing that he ever got started that we weren't going to finish.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, he and I and Curtis were going to finish it. Be damned. Anything else, we were going to finish it. So Gene Hickman probably got that. Is where I got that from. And then my dad got it from him, I would imagine. My grandmother was pretty determined as well. But there wasn't anything that Gene Hickman ever started that he wasn't going to finish, or especially if you told him that it wasn't going to happen or he couldn't do it. Yeah. Oh hell, it was going to happen. It was happening. So, that's just in my bloodline. It just is what it is.
I knew that's where it came from. Yeah. I had a pretty good feeling about that.
Yeah.
Another thing, kind of go off of that. It's a little different. I think if you do a poll, and just because maybe more people knows me, like you said, people knowing now that you're Lucas on the show.
Yeah.
But most people say that I'm not the serious one, right?
Oh, I wouldn't think so, yeah.
But I think more and more people listen knows what I've known for all the years. Funny son of a bitch.
I don't know if I am or not. There's sometimes it comes off. I'll get a witty one in, but I don't know.
Like every show, there's at least 5, and I'll catch 3 of them, right?
Right.
Live here, I mean, like right now, I've got a piece of paper in my hand. If we weren't asking questions, I would still have a piece of paper.
Right.
And a lot of times I'm in the interview or I'm in our podcast. I'll catch 3 of your 5.
Yeah.
And then I'll be sitting here driving and I'll laugh my ass off catching the 2 that I didn't catch.
Hear that I said under my breath over here.
And I'll just say, you dumbass. I think, like I said, people at the end of our first run, that's when you got to, that's where you let your hair down, so to speak, right. And you're really coming into your own and finding that balance and letting people see the guy that I knew for all these years. And credit Lucas with like the commercials that y'all need to go find. I have no idea, but just go binge listen. Credit Lucas with those. Our new intro is all Lucas. I literally showed up and he put those words on paper, and I can't take credit. The wit and the corniness.
Oh, I'm corny to
corny
the end.
White guy.
Yeah.
Like Don Asbury's like, that's a corny white dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, he didn't say that, but like Derek Rich always says, Don's the corniest white guy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe me, right?
Where does that come from?
I don't know, man. I've just always been corny. I've always wanted to make people laugh. My mother used to tell this story of I come walking through the house like an ape one time, like walking just funny, and it made her laugh. And she said, I never done it again like I did then, but I tried it at least once a week for the next year, just trying to do it again. I always wanted to make somebody laugh. That was just, that's how I knew people were happy, and that's how you make friends, right? You make you're a knucklehead and you make another knucklehead laugh, you get a buddy, right? And so that's just what I always wanted to do. And I had a guy tell me one time he was laughing at something I'd said, and it was something just come out. He said, man, don't ever change. And I've thought about that moment for a long time, because from that moment on, everything changed. I kind of lost that, and I tried to be more serious or what have you. But I don't know, man. I'm just a knucklehead, and that's just what happens.
Being around your family my whole life, I think it's a combination of everybody, because your mom is always such a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
So soft-spoken. Your dad's always been awesome. Your brother, always laughing.
I used to love making him laugh more than anything. I used to here's another thing I used to do. I used to sit in his bedroom and make up stories and tell him just to keep him laughing. I would just make just the most absurd thing that I could add to a story.
Yeah.
And I can get pretty absurd. It doesn't, I don't do it on here because it gets out of bounds sometimes, but yeah.
Which I vote for every time.
Yeah. I used to love doing that. I would sit and make him laugh with some of the most absurd stuff, and I used to love that more than anything. And I don't know, man. I just always enjoyed people laughing.
If y'all think Lucas is funny on here, you should hear the stuff that never.
Will never.
He won't let it, and I get it. I'm the only one setting myself up for failure here, saying everything I shouldn't say on air.
Right.
Lucas says it's funny stuff, but your brother cackles. No, you're the one that laughs so hard that you cry. That's kind of your deal, right?
Right.
But I always got tickled laughing at Curtis. And you're talking about people saying don't change. I'm with you, because I've always been a goofball, and there's a guy named James Rinks listen to the show. One time I went on this big rant on Twitter and something I thought was funny. He said DK never change.
Right.
And like in our age, you want to be serious and you want to be taken serious, but also there's always room for laughter. There's always, because when Rinks met me was 2009, and I probably was double fisting a beer in a groping granny costume.
Right.
Okay. That's what every year he comes like, he's like, man, Beetlejuice can't touch the groping granny. So that's like 2009 me and 2018 is pretty dramatically different, but and
there's a time period in a young man's life, that you, and it's sometime around that 25, 26 mark.
Yeah. Or 30, depends on.
Yeah, depending, for me it was around between 23 and 26, somewhere in there, that you look back and you go, I have been a disaster to this point.
Yeah. I've had that come to Jesus meeting time or two.
I have had the last 5 to 10 years of just being the biggest knucklehead that's ever been. And I really need to shake that persona, and I really need to be taken more seriously. And then at some point you go too far with it, and then you just come off as the serious old grump, And then, for me, it took into it. And Daniel Collins pointed out to me one time, he said, you've got to the point where if you do fail and somebody points it out, you get defensive about it, and I'd gotten to that point, and I still struggle with it now,
I do too, man.
Yeah.
I struggle with it because I get pissed off that, and I get it, if you're not around me a lot and your last memory of me is me being out at 2 a.m. or me.
Yeah, 2005, 6.
Or whatever. I get it. Or if I used to do, there's a lot of bad decisions that I've made that I'm not even going to talk about on here. But, I mean, it really pisses me off when a person's not around you. Okay, yeah, you're going to have that memory.
Yeah.
But, man, especially in Clay County, especially in Jackson County, in your small town areas where people think they know your life better than you do, you can change.
Yeah, and you should.
You can change, but people's never going to acknowledge that. People are still going to be like second guessing that.
Right.
That has bugged me a lot lately because people want to tell you, and I can't stand nothing more than a hypocrite.
Right.
I don't own any stones to throw anywhere. Okay, you know what I mean? Another Cody Jinks favorite, going back to why I can relate to music. Don't tell me I heard DK done this or I heard DK done that.
Yeah, well, 15 years ago, maybe.
Pull up a chair, bitch. You want to talk about what I heard about you last week?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's why when I hear some, people say, "Can you believe so and so did this?" And I went, yeah, hell, I've probably done worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you married to him? So, we can all hear stuff, but that bothers me.
Right.
That does bother me, and it's got to a point to where I want to prove to people, I've changed here, changed there, but like, at the same time, I'm finding a hard balance of how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better parent? How can I show my sons that it's
how to be a better man a good way,
right? And we can joke. When's the time to joke? When's the time? Yeah,
right.
It's an everyday struggle. Like I said, there's no book on this stuff. But don't tell me. I know personally. I know myself. I know what I've grown. How much I've grown about certain things and how much I take parenting serious and how much I do other things. Just because I've been the knucklehead that's been wild, I'll make jokes on here. Like the other day when I, spoiler alert, I did have a beer here the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Realistically, I can buy a case of beer and they'll sit in my refrigerator not to try to take the mystique off the old DK character. They can sit there for a long time.
Right.
What am I usually drinking when I'm down here? Water, these energy drinks or something.
Milkshake.
If I got time to go to the Dairy Burger. It's just like there's a character almost to a certain point. You've got this. I'm gonna tell you something. DK could go all night, and
could have went all night.
Could have, there wasn't no shutting this party down.
Right.
People that try to, if you're 25 and have heard old stories about me, you're going to be fairly disappointed when I'm yawning. 2018 version. When I'm yawning at 11:15.
Yeah. God, I'm at 11:15. I ain't having it.
Don't back me into a corner though, because I will try my ass off to hang with you.
Get past it. Yeah.
Think about that. What was your favorite Thursday night tradition we used to do in college?
I was standing on the table and singing, brother.
That was it.
I literally threw away a bunch of old pictures the other day, and God bless him. Old Nutsack McGillicuddy had it out standing on the table, and
on whose shoulder?
I don't remember. I can't remember it right now.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
it was
I
my
believe
shoulder.
I would say, was it yours or the stuff's? I couldn't remember. And just thinking, man, that was such a good time, and you can't get that back. That moment, that feeling, that don't come back. But standing on that table singing at 2:00 in the morning with a bunch of other knuckleheads, man, there's nothing better than that.
What's funny, man? It was college, and it was all that good stuff. But
the neighbor next door cooking meth, calling the cops on you.
Yeah, that's bad when you got meth heads calling the cops on you.
They're gonna have to calm down next door.
That was, and we weren't even like most time guys our age had girls on the mind and whatever. At that time of
night,
it was the biggest sausage fest
ever, and it was the best time ever. It was the best,
and that's what you get older and you realize, like, damn, I miss my buddies.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But also, don't sacrifice. The best advice I've ever had from a boss in my life was I used to be out running around. They're like, if you got a good girl,
don't sacrifice her for a buddy.
Yeah, because in 10 years from now, those buddies will be married with kids, and they don't give a damn about you.
Right.
And I've still got you, and I've still got a handful of guys that still will call me or text me. But I've got a lot of buddies that I thought would be buddies for life that don't.
Like old Nutsack McGillicuddy.
That don't pick up.
When's the last time you heard from him?
Randomly, I run into him at the tin roof on Demumbrian like 6 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, though, if I'm at the point, if you don't pick up that phone on me, brother, I ain't extending it every time. I'm sick of extending.
Right.
And I'd love to. But that is good advice. Don't sacrifice a good woman for buddies that ain't always gonna be there.
Oh yeah, and luckily I it wasn't for lack of trying, but I kept a hold of mine, for a long time, and she held on for 9 years before I actually proposed to her.
Yeah. But man, like I said, straight up sausage fest, and couldn't be happier about it. 2:00 in the morning, when like most people,
nothing but smiles in them pictures.
Most people our age was trying to probably holler at something at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
it's me.
The only thing we was hollering at was them walls.
Yeah, Chris and I, Hank Jr. Man,
that was the most. I had that radio. I had that radio on them speakers when I bought my first weight set, I got that radio and them speakers too, and I took them all the way to college, and then man, we rocked
West 3rd Street. Yeah, West 3rd, Apartment 6, Apartment 11.
Yeah.
I remember when JD, the nutsack on my shoulder kind of guy.
Yeah.
He said, "That's honest to God truth. It's me, Lucas, Brent, Cucumber, probably AJ, Brad, Fraley, then JD come and." Somebody had them little cheap throwaway cameras. Dude,
those little cheap Kodaks.
Dude's 6'5". He's standing on my coffee table. I'm on the ground, and we get the pictures back at his nut sacks on my left shoulder.
That picture had a flower over it.
Yeah. Although, man, those were definitely good times. Yeah. And I seen him one time. We busted in James Hatcher's apartment on Mississippi, and James had some gay little silk sheets anyway. And JD went in there. Or James say, DK, if you let him come in here with his sack out on me. Man, I can't control another man's sack.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try.
Goodness gracious.
Not only can I not, I don't want to.
Biggest regret, starting this podcast with me or only being a 1 week wingman with me in college?
Ooh, unfortunately, I would have to say starting this podcast, because I don't regret that 1 week wingman, because it turned into a beautiful wife and a beautiful baby boy.
No, so your answer should be the other way, because never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's only one way to answer that with how you phrase it.
Right.
Yeah.
Lucas let me down. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Those Thursday nights we were talking about,
we're supposed to have been something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been. Could have been. Kara could have waited another couple of weeks.
We couldn't have.
I was asking for a month.
Yeah.
They're like, this is
you got a week.
Like, my buddies, I went to college with 3 buddies.
Uh-huh.
Elliot, James, Van Eric, and we all hung out pretty regular. But, like, Lucas is the one I really eyeball. Like, me and Brent weren't even that tight, really. Me and Brent weren't friends, actually. I said, man, when Lucas gets up here,
we got this.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
2 young dudes that know how to talk.
Yeah.
I said we're gonna, even though we didn't know what we were saying back then.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you have no idea until you get older and like, man, I was a goober. But
Yeah.
I really thought I had high hopes for this 1A 1B duo. Like one of us, and then one little curly headed brunette and a yin yang twin song later.
Yeah, here we are. She and I seen each other in it was literally the very first class that we ever walked into. We had it together, and
bullshit.
And we've been together ever since, man. It's just one of those things. It was destiny.
A little George Strait song, huh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sure ruined my second year of college.
Yeah, so I don't regret the podcast, but I regret the podcast more than that.
The Doug Martin poll question of the week: over under.
Yeah,
15 times. You have found me difficult and wanted to strangle me to work with during the making of this podcast.
Talking about, is there more or less than 15?
Yeah, 15's the number. Over under times you wanted to strangle me.
Under? I would say under.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
How many times of those under 15 came at the park day?
All. Every one of them. Yeah. I was literally thinking the only ones that I can think of are about 4, and they happen to all at the same day. And all in the same place.
And every time I talk about bringing a guest on, you won't have.
Yeah, right. That one guest that I won't have on here.
And it's so weird.
Yeah.
I think y'all have more in common than you'd think.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days.
I'm like an old ass man over here studying my paper.
I was going to say, do you want me to hold that damn thing for you so you can see it?
Jesus Christ. Tell me 3 podcasts you listen to.
Meat Eater, Joe Rogan,
Whoa.
Fighter and the Kid.
Is that on RedTube or?
That's Meat Eater is Steve Ranella. It's about hunting. It's a hunting show. So I've got Joe Rogan.
Yeah, because you're such an extreme hunter.
Yeah, right. Meat Eater. Steve Ranella is a really interesting guy. He talks about like Bureau of Land Management land and Native American stuff like that. Then I've got Fieldcraft Survival. Below the Belt.
Now who's studying that shit over there?
And Pod Runner. You ain't that the kid. Pod Runner's pretty fun too. If you're gonna exercise, it's just
okay. So the exercise you got. The hunting one threw me off. I'd have it on Curtis's cube, but not you.
Yeah.
How come? Speaking of Curtis, how come you never grew out a sweet ass mullet like Curtis had in junior high?
My head was so big already. I didn't want anybody to have any other reason to make fun of.
You don't need a freaking perm on top of that thing.
I don't need nothing else pointing at this thing like a big ass mullet. I didn't need it.
My God, can you imagine your head with like just a straight out perm mullet?
My uncle had a perm one time, and I thought I need one of them. And then
his love life was on fire.
Yeah, well, at the time, it was the 80s, so it was
the 80s.
Yeah,
I had a nice
it probably
was.
Probably worked all right for him.
Oh God, dang. Give me what do you listen to when you're working out? What can I listen to? Because it never fails, man. When I'm at the gym, I told you about the time I was there. And I was trying. I didn't fix a playlist. It was a Friday. I didn't want to be there. It was beautiful outside.
Yeah.
It was like a George Jones, Waylon, Hank Jr., Merle Haggard, and I went. I'm getting drunk. I can't be.
I ain't doing this.
Hey, so if I'm lying, I'm dying. I was on the back row machine. I was doing row, and the fourth country song come on. I said, "This ain't meant to be. I want to get some beer." And then I get in the truck, and Eminem's on. So what's some of the tunes you listen to?
Cochise, Audio Slave.
Sounds dirty.
Yeah, it gets you going. I Can't Stop by Flux Pavilion. That one, I like that one. Whatever by Godsmack. Highly Suspect. Just about anything that Highly Suspect does.
All right.
I like to mix it up a little bit. J. Kill and the Hustle Standard. I've got some Justin Wells on here. Rag and Bone Man. Rob Bailey. I don't know if you know who Rob Bailey is, but I'd like to talk to Rob Bailey. But Rob Bailey is the husband to Dana Lynn Bailey, which was the first woman to win the Olympia whenever they did the physique. Anyway, he's a really interesting guy, entrepreneur, singer, thing. Angry guy when he does his music.
I really let me listen to him time too down here.
Yeah. Got some Tyler Childers in there. Tupac down there. Tupac, California Love, again, going back to my first weight set.
It's the best.
I used to play that song over and over and over. My mother's probably heard that more times than most people that listen to this podcast because of the amount of times I used to play that.
Oh, it doesn't get old. You prefer Sturgill or Tyler Childers?
Sturgill?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of have to.
Me too. I like Tyler. And Tyler's got a version. I know we're running late. Tyler's got a version of Chris Knight's "It Needs to Be in Me." It's out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So, and nothing. Blake Shelton has a version of that. There's so many. Chris Knight's just Chris Knight to me.
Right.
It's just I don't touch it. And I love Tyler, but I'll go with Chris Knight's version. If you're going with Sturgill,
I'll go with Sturgill all day long on that. I'll listen to Tyler Childers, but it's usually bookended by Sturgill. Yeah. I'll start with Sturgill and I'll get tired of a particular album. I'll go and listen to something else, but I come back and listen to one of Sturgill's other albums again. So I'm a Sturgill guy.
Me too.
Yeah,
I agree. All right. Well, everybody that is not going to know these three people, but and I could have used a completely. I mean, I probably should have picked somebody that's more so in your life.
Yeah.
But I picked three of my buddies that you also noticed because I'm going to get a kick out of it too.
Okay.
For selfish reasons. When we play F, Marry, Kill on this show, we don't do attractive women.
Right? No, never.
And we're not going to do attractive men that are celebrities because that wouldn't be fun for us either. And honestly, I'm not that hip to pop culture. I couldn't tell you three relevant names of pop culture that would matter.
Right.
But the always famous, always loved F, Marry, Kill game. Don Asbury, Brad Craighead, and Clint Fraley. Who you marrying? Who you killing? And who you throwing that light pole to?
Don, AJ.
No, Don and Brad.
Don and Brad.
And Clint.
Don and Brad and Clint. I laugh because I just come up with a really good reason for the F one, but then I got thinking maybe I don't need to say it like that.
Well, I'm sure you won't sound a bit.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I didn't want to insult him. Is where I was going. I would have to. I'm gonna start with the kill first, and I do this purely out of love. I'm gonna have to go with Brad.
Really?
The reason being is
surprising, actually.
That way that his legacy can be cemented, because the best way for somebody's legacy to really get cemented into the zeitgeist is for them to be passed away. So I think so that Brad can go down in history as he needs to. He would have to get the kill. Mary, I would have to go with Fraley. The reason I would go with Fraley is because I think after the passion's gone, I think that he and I could at least have interesting conversations.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to screw Don. That's just what I'm gonna have to do.
But you're 6'2", 240, and he's 5'5", 160.
Realistically, that's the reason. That's the reason that he's not gonna like it. And I'm not gonna say I'm gonna enjoy it, but
please don't.
But I mean, the little fella's gonna get it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and he looks like he moisturizes more than anybody else.
Oh, so. Absolutely. He's not as hairy as those other two.
No.
I've seen both of those guys without their shirt on.
Yeah,
in a non-ethnic situation.
He looks more supple.
I think he would do more manscaping than the other two would.
Oh yeah.
I think Brad is too. He's too old-fashioned.
Yeah.
He's going to wear his Carhartt vest and his flannel shirt, and he has back hair like we had Lindsay. He was like, dude,
somebody shave my neck.
Oh, he's on vacation. He said, dude, you shave your back? And I said, yeah, who wants those random patches all over the place, man? Mm-hmm. He goes, oh, hell, my old lady won't do it. I said, Lindsay, bring the trimmers in here.
Get his back.
We're on the back patio drinking Crown and Coke, and he's getting his back trimmed up. And Clint, that's a damn sweater year round.
Yeah, he could trim it today and it's back tomorrow. He's done. Yeah.
So I think you maybe. I mean, you're gonna get to go travel with Don.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get to travel with Clint.
Yeah, but you're traveling to.
Yeah, right.
You're traveling to concerts and festivals.
Yeah.
and which is not your deal.
That's right.
Right?
All right.
And
but at least whenever he got back, I could have a nice conversation with him about it.
With Don, you're going to go to Germany. You're going to go to
That's true.
Like he's going to Washington D.C. this week. He's going to L.A. next month. Like you're going to see some places. You know?
Think whenever he hears this, he's going to go, I know I'm getting F. I know it's me.
Well,
yeah.
I'm really curious to see what he's going to think.
Yeah.
It may change my perspective on both of you.
If he goes, yes, then.
And Clint, or I think Clint's going to be like, Clint gets in his feelings every now and then.
Yeah.
He's like, well, somebody finally feels I'm interested enough to want to be with him.
Right.
Yeah. I knew I was an interesting son of a bitch. Now, Brad's going to be all sorts of butthurt about it.
No, he shouldn't be, because I put him on a podium.
Right.
I put him up on the pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel like he's gonna be offended that you didn't want to get down.
Get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Brad's kind of wildcat before he got married. I don't know if you know that rumor about him.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard that. I've heard the stories.
Oh my God.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good one.
This is what the One Lane Road podcast was meant to be.
Yeah.
A long time ago. No guests, nothing like that. It's just us.
Yeah. This was a good one. It was a long one. It was a real long one.
Yeah. I'm glad you got to. I'm going back to the nightmares because now I'm gonna have nightmares over that last question. And if you don't mind,
that's like the Screw Mary Kill game is just like the goat game in
the Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, whatever the name is.
Waiting.
Yeah. The point of it is to call the other one gay after you get done.
Yeah. So glad you didn't come at me with one of those questions because I was already actually I can't talk anymore. I've actually got to be at the airport. I just found out that Tom Cruise's flight's coming in at 11, so I got to get out of here. You got to
get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I got to charge my battery because I got to get that selfie.
All right, everybody. That was fun. Thanks, DK.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.